What's going on, everybody? We are looking at the Bet'em and Pick'em show for week 13. We are joined by Rob Brink, Tyler Beaker, and myself, Russell Clay. Today, we're going to be looking through the slate of games. We got 6 teams on bye coming off Thanksgiving week. Playoff situations really solidifying. We are looking for who's going to shit in the apple pie for these big favorites and all that good stuff. But Rob, how was Thanksgiving? What's going on? Enjoying?
Pretty good. I'm still laughing last night about Dallas, like almost blowing that game. I mean, first of all, congratulations on DK Metcalf still having a pulse. But, Dallas, they haven't beaten an unbeaten team until last night. It was the fucking Seahawks. Like, I don't know. These guys might be frauds.
First thing I was thinking was fraudulent. Very, very. It's shaping up to be like a one and done team for the postseason. That's how I'm kind of viewing the Cowboys right now. The NFC right now is just like the Eagles and 49ers, and then a massive cliff between everyone else.
Which we get this week. I'm excited for that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the poor Seahawks, this stretch of the 49ers, the Cowboys, which if there was going to be one win, this probably was it last night. They got the 49ers again and the Eagles after this. So the 6-8 after being 6-4, looking very, very likely at this point. So anyway, all right. So yeah, that game's out. I mean, it's good it's out because I might have taken the Cowboys to cover 9, but Vegas always knows. They won, but not covered last night. Geno Smith, the one good game of his season last night. So, all right, let's get into the games though. Okay. So Chargers at the Patriots, Chargers -5 in Foxborough. This team that is just bad. I mean, the Chargers are just bad this year. Joey Bosa's hurt. Mike Williams, Josh Palmer, both on IR, though there were rumors Josh Palmer was going to come back. I had no idea how much they were going to need him. They need him back. They need competence there. They're using Jalen Guyton and some guy named Smart right now. I want to pick the Pats, Tyler. You're laughing, but I couldn't do it in good faith. What do you got on this game?
Good faith is the key word there. So, running backs don't matter. Great website for analytics. They have a graph that shows all of the quarterbacks with 40 or more dropbacks. Bailey Zappi dead effing last in that category. He's also dead last in on-target percentage. Granted, he's had a small sample, but he's just not the answer. Like we talked about this with the Jets, where the change from Zach Wilson to Tim Boyle is change for the sake of change, not an upgrade. I'm viewing it the same way with the Patriots, not really expecting much here. These teams are just terrible. Both squads 8-3 to the under right now. The Patriots have cleared 20 points once all season. The Chargers are just in a tailspin. It's a stay away game for sure.
Rob, we've reached the point in the 2023 NFL season where we have a Joe Flacco start and a Taylor Zappi start. I mean, that's where we are. And the best thing about the New England Patriots this year is that they're totally fucking irrelevant. As a Steelers fan, it feels great. Although I'm going to the Thursday night game next week. Wish it wasn't the Patriots, but it is. So, this is just a flat stay away for me. This game is too dumpsters boxing.
The argument for the Patriots here is that the Chargers have given up on Brandon Staley, which I don't know if that's here yet, but the way these guys keep losing, there is a range of outcomes where they've just said, fuck this guy. Mm-hmm. We've seen that multiple times this year already. The Panthers, who else lost their coach? So yeah, I just feel like there is a chance this team's done, but moving on, Lions and Saints. Lions 4.5 point favorites here at the Saints. I got a 3 confidence. Tyler, you're a 3. Rob, you're a 3. Seems like we're all pretty aligned here. Mondo's a 5 on the Lions covering. Rob, what do you got?
Yeah, I mean, look, The Lions did not look great last week, which is mildly concerning, but not against the Saints here. Covering less than a touchdown, I'm happy to take this. I think that's a great number. And shout out to us for being the only 3 plus Armando that got our picks in for this week. So just so you guys know, if you're watching and used to seeing other people's input, it's just us this week. So, but yeah, give me this game less than a score.
Yeah, you kind of hit everything. The teams are just heading in different directions. The Saints and are really banged up, especially on defense and offense. Like they have multiple pieces at every level of the defense that are supposed to miss this game. Their top 3 wide receivers on the depth chart are supposed to miss this game. The Lions defense has really kind of fallen off in recent weeks, and their pass defense, they've gone a lot more man heavy. Maybe they get away from that and go back to more zone against a group of guys that are just nobodies. The only question for me is what kind of Taysom Hill game are we going to get here? Is he going to be the wild card that you need for DFS? But yeah, this is a great game for the Lions to get back on track. They are, I think, 4-0 against the spread on the road, or it's 4-1 against the spread on the road. And the Saints are 0-4 against the spread at home. They have yet to cover at home. So I like picking on the Derek Carr, who has been a fraudulent quarterback. We talked about frauds just a second ago. Yeah, I think the Lions win by at least a touchdown.
God, Derek Carr. Get him out of there, man. I'm sick of it. All right. Might be the weirdest game of the week here. Falcons 2-point favorites on the road. I swear the Falcons are 1.5 to 2.5 point favorites every week, or dogs against the Jets. Jets +2. Tim Boyle, Rob, got anything here?
No, I just don't know who the Jets think it's benefiting, like teasing Aaron Rodgers and posting QB porn with him in it in slow motion and all this shit. Like, it just tells you how irrelevant the Jets are. That's what they have to hang their hat on right now. Unfortunately, Atlanta's in the same exact shithole of a boat. So, yeah, this is a total coin flip. If I had to take it, I'd take the points, but it's a total coin flip for me.
This is a stay away one for me. I want nothing to do with Tim Boyle. Just does not look the part whatsoever. Couldn't get it done. Well, I think he had 1 scoring drive against the Dolphins last week. They benefited from a pick 6, but this offense just cannot move the ball. So give me Atlanta, who can at least run.
All right. Cardinals +5.5 in Pittsburgh. Tyler, you got a 1 here. Rob, your Steelers offense looked much improved without our boy Matt Canada.
400 yards.
Any thoughts there on this game? I was kind of in on the Cardinals with Kyler kind of putting up a fight, but they got obliterated last week.
Listen, people. I saw tweeters, Xers saying that this is a similar looking offense to what Canada was running. No, it fucking wasn't. How many times did you see Canada attack the middle of the field with Kenny Pickett? Kenny can throw it across the middle. Oh, and we've got a great fucking tight end in Freiermuth. Yep. How was this not utilized? Like, if you could watch that game and go, oh, Matt Canada wasn't the problem, this is a fluke 400 yards for the Steelers, you're fucking blind. I was watching some Mike Tomlin porn this morning as well, where he said, it's December and now it's time for us to fucking do damage or destroy or whatever it is he says. I'm all in Pittsburgh right now to end out the season. And by the way, their schedule is phenomenal. Shame on them for losing to the Browns 2 weeks ago. But their schedule is phenomenal to fucking finish this thing strong.
Tyler, I don't think there's a question if the Steelers win. Do they cover this 5.5 weird number?
It is kind of in no man's land. But we've also seen the Arizona offense kind of teeter out. Like whenever they're not getting rushing scores by Kyler, they're just not putting up points like they should. I think we're going to have some troubles here with Kyler against his pass defense. Marquise Brown's got a really good, tough matchup there against Joey Porter Jr. Man, does that kid look good. Shame on the Steelers for not starting him week 1. He's looked like an absolute baller. Very, very impressed with him. No Michael Wilson for them. This Steelers team, though, should be able to run at will against the Cardinals' run defense. I think that's going to be the story of this game is, can they convert their downs? Because they still struggled with that a bit last week. And can they keep the Cardinals' offense off the field, which I think they should. I think the Steelers win by at least a touchdown, excuse me.
Okay. Yeah, I'm in. All right, next one. Panthers, the nobody believes in us Panthers, +5 at the Buccaneers. I have a 1 confidence on the Bucs to cover. Mondo has a 1. Bucs. So I will say the Bucs injury report was pretty gnarly. Last week they lost a few guys, including Levante David. I'm not sure if he's going to play or not. Panthers interim coach Frank Reich. Let's go to our local reporter there, Rob. What do you got on the old Panthers?
Yeah, no change in sentiment here in North Carolina about the Carolina Panthers or Bryce Young. Still, everyone wants to string up Tepper and get him the hell out of town. Which is, he's like one of the richest owners in all of sports, which is interesting. But made a bad choice in Bryce, and everyone sees it. In terms of this game, I have no idea. I don't know what Tampa is, what they're doing. This just feels like, Tampa should roll Carolina here. But I don't know. I don't have enough to go one way or the other.
I'm kind of on that same page. Like if I were to pick a side, it would be Tampa. But I mean, the injury report for the Bucs is still pretty bad, as Russ alluded to, with the linebackers and the cornerbacks, expecting them to probably miss based on DNPs on Thursday. But this is a Carolina Panthers team you just run against. Like, I think Rashad White hits 100+ on the ground here, and they control the clock, and we just see poor play by a Panthers team that lost Frank Reich. They lost Josh McCown, their QB coach. They lost Deuce Staley, their running back coach. It's an entire shakeup offensively, and I don't think it's going to be enough to get this team going.
What's up with the spreads this week? We got a 5, a 4.5, a 5.5, a 5. What's going on with the spreads this week? And our next game's a 1. So.
Vegas is looking at the market and said, all right, you casuals, time to make some bread. We're going to give you 5.5 points and see what you do with this shit. All right. So Colts, Titans +1 at home. I almost threw a little 1 confidence on Titans to cover, but I ultimately stayed away. Mondo has a 2 on the Colts to win and cover that 1 point. Tyler, any thoughts here?
No, this is a rough one for me to analyze. Last time these teams played, it was other quarterbacks. We had Tannehill and we had Anthony Richardson playing for Indy. So like the previous matchups kind of wanted to throw out the window. I think a close spread almost and just a pick 'em makes sense here. Like if anything, I would use this as a teaser and make Tennessee +7, thinking that this game stays competitive throughout. Colts still a team you can run against, and Derrick Henry, for better or worse, is still out there running the ball, doing his thing. I think he hits the paint here and keeps this game competitive. So I think +1's fair. I don't really have a side here. Rob, do you have anything on this?
All I know is, the narrative of Gardner Minshew, gunslinger, and all this shit. The guy just sucks. Okay, he's not an NFL quarterback. All right, so yeah, sometimes he makes a wild fucking play, but so what? So can I if I was out there throwing a football around like that. Like there's nothing impressive about Gardner Minshew. I just want to put that one to bed.
Okay, it's a conversation that needs to be had. It is. He's not really even Ryan Fitzpatrick. But he's good enough to start, especially in 2023. And we got a Jake Browning to talk about at the end of the slate here. But yeah, if you're comparing, it's kind of like with Geno. Geno sucked 5 years ago, and now we're like, ooh, Geno. Now, yeah, it's ugly out there. All right,
dude, we've got Minshew, Browning, Joe Flacco.
40-year-old Joe Flacco. Yeah.
What is going on here? Great product.
All right. This is one of the most curious games I think for this week. Dolphins 9.5 point favorites on the road in Washington, Tyler. Of course, the analysis is the casual guy picks up, ESPN.com, hasn't watched the game this year and says, oh, Miami should win by 40 here. Washington secondary disaster. 9.5 feels like a fair line. What do you got?
Tough one here. So this is a game that's also hovering around the 50 point total. And games that have hit 50 or over this season, they have almost all hit the under. Like these high scoring matchups are just not occurring. This could be one where it does occur. So I've stayed away from the under on this matchup solely because Washington is a team that will punch back. They are number 3 right now in pass rate over expectation. And Sam Howell leads the league in pass attempts per game. He's going to throw the ball like crazy. The thing about this Miami defense, they love to prevent like deep passes. So they'll play like conservatively back and allow the underneath stuff. So we could see some long drives by Washington, a lot of Curtis Samuel, maybe some Logan Thomas sprinkled in there, some Antonio Gibson leaking out, where it's competitive enough where we see Miami scoring like 3 plays. They've got a healthy Devon Achane coming back, Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle. You list the weapons are phenomenal. But this is a team that can score in like 3 or 4 plays and then just let the other team, Washington, make long, time-consuming drives that eat up clock and lean toward this under, maybe hitting the possibility of them covering a 9.5 spread. So for me, this is a stay away. I don't have a strong enough lean on Miami to bury a team like Washington, despite what all the numbers should say. This is a dreadful, dreadful secondary that also fired their defensive coordinator, also fired their defensive backs coach. They're also down the rookie Emmanuel Forbes. There is, for every reason, Miami should score 40 plus points, but away from home, this team scores like 24 points per game versus 38 points per game. 38 points per game at home versus like 24 on the road. It's a different team when they're on the road, and they're in Washington in a game that has a 50% chance of rain. Maybe things slow down a bit. I'm kind of long-winded here, but this is a fun one. I'm really excited for this game.
Yeah, let me tell you a bookmaker's trick. The reason this is 9.5 is to fuck your 6-point teasers. Okay, that's why the hook's there on this number. Because if everyone's going to tease this game down, it's probably going to be one of the most heavily teased games, and they're moving you off the 3 onto 3.5. And I tell you right now, it's a bad idea to tease Miami down to 3.5 here. So don't do that. That's why the hook's there. Just a quick bookmaker trick for you. If you're going to tease this game, tease Washington up 15.5 and roll with that. 3 scores. I think that's a great play, to be honest with you. I know we're talking contest here, but I would not be afraid to tease Washington up 6, but not tease Miami down 3.5.
The only other factor I'll throw in for this Miami defense is they have been playing better. I mean, they've been playing, the Raiders and the Jets, but with Ramsey back, it does feel like a slightly different tone to this defense than what we were seeing earlier in the year. But ultimately, I guess, Tyler, for this over, does Sam Howell throw 2 picks and give Miami like two red zone opportunities out of nowhere? And then, so yeah, no, it's gonna be right to the wire here. But yeah, that's kind of what we're looking at here. So that's a fun one. Nobody touched that game, but that's a fun one. All right,
somebody's
moving
coming
on.
in that's not on the sheet yet and taking Miami. I bet you guys.
Yeah. All right, moving on. Broncos plus 3.5 at Houston. I put a 5 confidence on the Broncos to cover here. Tyler's a 2. Mondo's a 3 on the Texans. I don't get this line. I don't know why Houston would be 3.5. They've played well with Stroud. Broncos defense look really good lately at sort of limiting points. And Russ Wilson, Sean Payton infrastructure winning these games every week. I don't know. They've beat the Bills. They've beat the Chiefs. They're kind of plugging away here. This Texans team is good, but they make a lot of mistakes. Rob, where are you at with this game?
I think Russ is cooking again. Yeah, he looks pretty freaking good. This is reminding me of Russ Wilson of old. I'm not seeing as many moon balls as he used to throw out there, but he's more than serviceable, and his feet look pretty good. So I think Denver's the side here. Getting 3 plus a hook is great. I see no reason that I would want to be on the Texans side of this one.
Tyler, anything to add there?
I'm kind of with you guys. I think I like getting that 3.5 line. I'm seeing -3 in other markets. So getting that hook there is huge for this contest that we're doing. Since that Week 6 matchup against the Chiefs on Thursday Night Football, this Broncos team's been very different. They are top 12 in EPA per play during that span. They are number 7 in EPA per play allowed on defense. So that defense that we were making fun of, the one that the Dolphins rolled all over, that has inflated all their season-long numbers. If we look just solely like over the last like 6 or 7 weeks, very, very different unit. Houston still has a lot of inconsistencies. They're still very young. I like Denver in the points here. I really do.
I could be moved on to Denver, actually. I think this is a great play. I didn't know this moved to 3 in market. That hook's a big deal.
And I'm not saying Houston isn't going to win, but every Denver game this year, other than as Tyler, I think that one Miami game is just keeping people off them the whole year. And every game's been close for the Broncos for 2 months. So even if they do lose, I'd venture to guess it's by a field goal. So, all right, next one, the weirdest line of the week by far. I heard John Ewing looked up. So 10-1 teams that are home underdogs, 3-point dogs at home for the Eagles. I guess the Vegas just thinks healthy 49ers steamroll everyone this year, Rob. I mean, they were right against the Jags. We said it at the time. That was a weird line, and it was over instantly against the Jags a few weeks ago. So do the 49ers just roll here again?
This is Tyler's team, so I'm going to be brief. Is San Francisco a 6-point favorite on neutral field? I don't think so. I'm going to kick it to Tyler because this is his squad, but I would struggle to think they're a 6-point favorite neutral.
The disrespect here in the market. What is going on here, guys? I mean, what does this Eagles team need to do? They have beaten Kansas City, Buffalo, Dallas, Miami. That's just in their last 4 or 5 games. Now they got a home matchup against the 49ers team. They rolled them in the conference game. Granted, that was a game where Brock Purdy exited super early, but Brock Purdy on the road, 4-5 against the spread in his career. This guy is not a road traveler. He has not done great here. Jalen Hurts, absolutely dominant at home, 17-6-1 against the spread throughout his home career. There's another chance we see a lot of rain here, which could slow things down, but I think the Eagles have this 49ers defense's number, whether they attack them on the ground or through the pass. The Niners rank bottom 10 in EPA per rush over this entire season. They're 25th in rush success rate. Like, we've seen some sneaky games. Like, they allowed, I think it was 80 plus yards to Joe Mixon on the ground, 130 yards to the Cleveland running backs. Like, the Eagles should be able to have their way with this defense. And I'm going to take the points here. I'm going to make this a one-off play if we don't take this in the contest, because +3 is just silly to me.
Yeah, you got these California beach boys coming off the sandy shores into fucking dirty, filthy Philadelphia in the cold and wet. I mean, come on, guys. Give me the 3 here.
My only other angle here is what is Vegas doing here, Rob? You guys are more experienced sports bettors than I am. Is there something to this? Everyone's going to take the plus. I mean, I have to imagine the public's are people piling in on the 49ers here?
I haven't seen the market movement on this game. So I'm not really sure where this opened at. But San Fran is going to draw the money.
Okay.
Tyler, do you have the bet percentages up?
No, I do not. I just see where the spread moved. It went from favoring Eagles -2.5 to Eagles being 3-point dogs.
Wow. Yeah. So money did that. People betting on the spread is what moved it. So most of the money I feel like is going to end up on San Fran.
Yeah. 53% on this current number. Yeah. So, yeah. Wow. I mean, people are on the Eagles money line at plus money, but yeah.
I like that bet.
Yeah. Wow. All right. So that's one I'm looking at. Eagles money line is straight up is pretty interesting as well. But yeah, that's a good one. All right. Browns Rams -3.5 with Gale Sayers, aka Kyron Williams, in the backfield, and Browns +3.5 on the road with just a DTR who got obliterated on a hit last week, or Joe Flacco. Rob, you're nodding. What are we doing with this this weird number here?
Yuck. What am I doing with this number? I'm doing absolutely fucking nothing with this number. Just forget this game exists. That's what I'm doing.
Tyler, I mean, the Rams looked like the Kurt Warner Rams last week. What are we doing with this against this Browns? Myles Garrett was just not. He was doing the Russ when he played that 1 year safety on JV football, where it's like, yeah, I'm technically in, but I'm not running towards the play here. I'm just hanging out.
Yeah, he's got a shoulder injury. DNP to start the week. Same with Denzel Ward, back-to-back DNPs. So they're down 2 of their key defensive players. The Joe Flacco-led Browns, what can we expect? 45 pass attempts at a 2.5 yard average depth of target. He's going to dink and dunk. We're going to see a lot of Elijah Moore, a lot of David Njoku. Amari Cooper, I think, still has that rib injury. I haven't seen any updates on that yet. Rams at home, give me the points here. I think they win by at least a touchdown here. The way you beat the Browns is by running at them. And we just saw last week, Kyron Williams, a.k.a. Gale Sayers, man. Wow. He was ripping off chunk gains. And then we had even Royce Freeman looking good out there. He was looking good out there. So I think they win by at least a touchdown.
Yeah. I would probably, if I'm on a side here, I'd probably take the Rams just because Brown's quarterback feels too far gone at this point. But all right. Next one, Chiefs Packers. Chiefs -5.5 on the road. Mondo's a 4 here on the Chiefs. Packers coming off that huge win against the Lions where they kind of beat them up. I don't know if that says more about the Packers or the Lions. Chiefs coming off a weird game. They did cover, but that first quarter was very awkward. Rob, any Chiefs leans this week?
Yeah, I'm a 5 on the Chiefs here. I think this is under a touchdown. I think it's a great play. I do wish, Andy Reid, for all of his genius, would stop getting cute in some of these situations. It's a little bit frustrating to watch. Like, I feel like Andy has shot them in the foot several times this year. But Chiefs are, if Green Bay didn't do what they just did to Detroit, they're a 7.5 point favorite here, in my opinion. Like, I really think that game last week bought them 2 points, and I don't see how it's deserved against this KC team.
Tyler?
Yeah, I can agree with that. Packers are kind of middling in pass rush. They play a lot of zone where they just sit back, and Mahomes can easily pick apart a zone-heavy squad. It's in KC, right? That's the only thing I want to double-check.
It
looks like it's in Lambeau.
It's in
Lambeau. Okay, interesting.
And it's moved to 6 for the Chiefs. So maybe it gets to that 7 you were talking about, Rob, by kickoff.
Well, from 5.5 to 6 is a huge move, right? I mean, that's a big deal.
So, all right, Tyler, anything?
I don't have anything else to add on that. Yeah, sorry.
All right. Yeah. Tyler's staying away from this game. That's my big read on that one. All right. So last one here, Monday night, Jags Bengals. Not exactly what the NFL was planning on when they had a Jags Bengals game in prime time. The Jake Browning experience, boys. He did lead a touchdown drive last week, which was the most shocking thing I saw all weekend. 8.5. Jags D is the best part of their team right now. I don't know how the Bengals move the ball other than Jamar Chase kind of becoming a superhero here. I know they get T. Higgins back, but I don't know that matters with the quarterback situation. I mean, this was a guy at Washington who would curl up for quarters at a time and just be like, oh my God, he can't throw against college.
This is what I think. You give me Jerry Rice and Michael Irving, I'm still going to get fucking slaughtered. And I don't see much of a difference between me and Jake Browning. So, I don't care who's back. I think this is just a flat slaughter, personally. So, yeah. I'm laying 8.5 here.
And Tyler, 24-year-old Joe Mixon might be able to put together a 35 rushing attempt, 150, 170-yard game. but I don't know that he looks quite the same as before. 8.5 is the question here, Tyler. Are we taking the 8.5 points?
I'm down to take 8.5 for sure.
Oh boy.
Jake Browning, he had. Oh no, I'm on the Jaguar side. I'm down to take that side.
You're laying 8.5.
Yeah, I'm laying.
Yes, Jags side. Jags side.
Yes. Let me
I thought I was
clarify.
getting ready to hear a Bengals.
All right. So,
picture.
Rob, you're a 4 here on the Jags. Tyler's a 5. I'm a 2. All on Jags.
Okay.
Yeah, so that clarifies how much I'm on the Jaguars here. There have been 15 drives by Jake Browning so far since he took over. 2 of those have been touchdown drives. We've seen this Jaguars team 7 out of 8 last games have been victories. I can't think but look back to like 2 weeks ago. They played the Titans 34-14. I think we see something similar unfold where they just lay it on. This team, offensively and defensively, isn't going to get going in Cincinnati. They're on the road, tough matchup. It's going to be a bloodbath, I think.
Well, Rob, we didn't want to give you a stroke here on the thing. So no, we do not want to take the Bengals with the points. Anything else?
I was excited to hear the Bengals case. I thought Tyler was about to lay out a really intelligent Bengals case for me. So that's good.
All right. So moving on to Survivor Week 13. There are some good spots. You probably don't have the Cowboys. I don't know what sicko is going to be taking the Chargers if you still have them in New England. Probably don't have the Lions. Maybe a Steelers week with that Cardinals team. Dolphins if you still have them, and then that Jags team if you still have them. Rob, what are you kind of looking at for Survivor this week?
Well, sadly, our Circa entries are gone, but that field is down from, was it 9,000 players or something? I think it's down to like 70 teams left. Since I have no skin in that game anymore, I'm not paying any attention to what's left on there on the what's available for these other guys. But I did chart out the entire season, and based on what we had left, I was going to lobby for Pittsburgh this week. Like you said, most of these top teams, like you're now getting down to the nitty gritty. Congratulations if you're still alive in Survivor right now. But I think I'm leaning heavily towards Pittsburgh is where I was going to go this week.
Tyler?
Yeah, I'll just say I think Pittsburgh's a smart play. Jaguars would be my lean if they had them left, but they're probably already used by most squads. I kind of like Atlanta too. I just really think Tim Boyle is trash. He is not a starting quarterback that should be playing in the NFL right now. So Atlanta, I think they can control the clock and play good run offense and rack up some points that way against the Jets.
Yeah, that's fair. And I mean, if you do somehow by a miracle have the Jags still in week 13, you're in a great spot this week because I think most people have used them by now, and this would be the week that you'd want to use them. So yeah,
6 teams on bye. This is a really tough week for Survivor.
Steelers, Jags. I mean, that Chargers team, and the Falcons +2.
Well, a lot of people probably have Bucks left too. I mean, you could pull the trigger on Bucks against Carolina.
Yep. Bucks against Carolina as well. And so there you go. All right, that's pretty much the week. Some weird lines. We're getting into that point in the year where some teams are tanking, some teams are beat up. So it's a fun week for us to kind of break down these games. But for like and subscribe to the channel. Check out the betting Discord on Fantasy Guru. And Rob, any other plugs and promotions we want to throw out here before we kind of roll out for the week?
Nope, nothing else.
All right, Radio 20% off at fansguru.com. Check out all Tyler's content. Check out my content. I'll be on with Jeff Mans later today for his DFS live stream, so check that out as well. And for Russell Clay, Tyler Beaker, and Rob Brink, we'll catch you guys next week.